jam 7 itu nggak ada dia. Baru jam 10 jam 11 tuh nongol. Paling nonton bentar. Lagi nonton film biasanya.
Defensive units one on one. It's high risk, but it means they get to the ball early. They're stopping Watkins, Rogers, co turning, getting at them, and really.
Started well last week, a tough victory on their travels. Now they're at home and look at the two of them, good friends already. Up against each other today. Nice to see them sharing a laugh and a smile before the game.
Yeah, so many Barcelona fans are looking forward to see them in the
Aing datang tadi untuk memberikan link, tapi mana biasanya ada si itu ya. Siapa?
Rizky ini hari udah mau tidur.
Tapi streamingnya biasanya tetap jalan. Mungkin sekarang lagi enggak mungkin ya.
Kalau Rizky ya itu waktu itu karena yang nonton Euro kan bayar kan bisa didiemin ditinggal. Kalau stream bajakan mana bisa.
Pas.
Instead, and that means Iñaki Williams going through the middle. And it was interesting to hear Hansi Flick when asked about the threat posed by Nico Williams saying, "I'm not worried about him. I've got Jules Koundé."
Olmo dimainin Olmo.
Mana bisa?
Look after business early on. Coming out to smother. And now
Oh ya Lenglet katanya mau ke ATM dengar-dengar.
He's not playing as a winger at the moment. Hansi Flick likes the 4-2-3-1 formation, and Rafinha is the one right now who's got that central role just behind Robert Lewandowski.
And he seemed comfortable last week with it. It seemed like he enjoyed the freedom.
Ya ngaruh walaupun Bang Jai udah promosi timnya nggak disiarin, nggak ada yang nyarin kecuali yang berbayar.
But it seemed the other week he was very comfortable.
CTI malah ngambil Bundesliga, kaget juga.
So that gives like creative players the possibility of let it flow somehow. But it also comes with defensive work. So that's like a question mark for Rafinha too.
Sponsornya Pamungkas.
It was almost the first chance for Nico Williams to threaten, but his brother Iñaki was offside as the ball initially came forward. Those comments interesting from Hansi Flick, Raul, that Koundé on the ball now. He backed him to do the job defensively against Nico Williams. It's going to be a good battle, isn't it?
It's going to be an interesting one, yeah, for sure. I mean, we're going to have to see. Also, Koundé enjoys going like attacking.
MP3 FC.
Usually we would see Barcelona everywhere, especially home, being very dominant and being very active. Not a
Katanya
passive role.
sih
So
dia
obviously Koundé is going to be like how he's doing, making Nico Williams work defensively. So it's going to be a battle that goes both ways for sure.
Lamine Yamal back to Rafinha, who swings it
Ada
over
Pamungkas
for
di
Balde.
adboardnya tuh.
There's a bright
Udah
future
liwat
at
tadi.
international level. He probably would have been at the Euros, probably starting in fact if he hadn't been injured towards the end of last season. He no doubt will have a full partnership with Nico Williams for Spain for years to come. There's another one.
Iya.
Over the field and
Dia biasanya ntar kelarnya jam 1:30 atau jam 1.
Barcelona might be tested now for the first time as Iñaki twists inside for a bit of space.
Bang Del, gue mau nanya, itu lu nggak salah ngupload link lama, video lama?
Kan dari channel yang ini, yang
Koundé with the foot in, but it's one back.
Enggak Bang Del, itu kan sekarang Liga 1 kan udah musim baru, masa yang lama lu kasih lagi? Sekarang udah 24-25.
Going to the bench and Iñaki Williams here looking to link up with his brother. Selected
Kitpack Liga 1. Save data ya? Save data apa Kitpack ya?
I mean, I feel they're gonna go for power. I feel they're gonna overpowering Barcelona. As I was saying before, I felt like the other day there was some moments, specifically the first half against Valencia, where they felt not slow, but they were being challenged. So I think the fact that Iñaki is gonna be there has to do with
masa depan
speed and offensively, but also Barcelona is obviously very good building up from behind. So I think also Iñaki puts a threat when it comes to pressing. We saw Athletic Bilbao coming a little bit behind, just waiting, being patient, something that Barcelona doesn't normally do. They like to go to press high. So I also feel like Iñaki can also be an asset when it comes to the defensive pressure.
As the visiting team on the ball, on the attack with Nico. Lamine Yamal helping out Koundé. Still Nico tries the inside pass that Lamine Yamal gets in the way of, but only conceding a corner under the challenge of Yuri.
Nggak tidur lu Bang Rizky, kirain udah mau tidur.
Bentar lagi paling. Kok hitam ya di gua ya, layar ya?
Iya emang hitam, bentar.
Oh iya. Ada suara, tapi
paling jam Barca paling habis jam 2, soalnya kan baru jam segini main. Dan jam 12.
We see Hansi Flick on the bench there, and Carlos pitch side for us. He seems a fairly calm kind of man on the sidelines so far. What are your early impressions, Carlos, of Hansi Flick's style during games?
Yes, that's precisely one of the first questions that we ask in Valencia. They're very calm, very limited indications also, but indications some players that didn't speak English. But he told us that
Kira lu mau langsung turun lu, kan MU udah kalah. Kira lu lagi menutup mata. Ngapain gua turun? Anti nangis gue. Yang nangis mah Eko. Bohong. Nangis sampai subuh. Bawa Eko mulu.
baru dah keluar kabarnya.
Kenapa? Mungkin
keluar gambarnya.
He doesn't expect too much of an atmosphere to be the problem. It is an issue for Barca, isn't it? That playing at Camp Nou is worth goals,
Ada
worth
Konde
points,
tapi udah bilang enggak Kondean. Out imbal.
Ya, soalnya kan bukan ranahnya Nur ini perlaligaan.
When the fans are far away from the game where things are happening, that makes it less warm, less intense. It doesn't help for the fans to actually bring something.
Masih aja dukung timnas Inggris yang selalu kalah di partai final.
Apa?
Iya, ada ya masih aja teman-teman Liga Inggris yang selalu kalah di partai final negaranya.
Nggak timnas klub juga sama, Cok.
But it is what it is. Like that's something that the club has to work for. You have to be fast with that because that's a type of stadium that just brings points.
Nah, kelihatan layarnya lebih bagus di Piala Liga, Piala Ciki. Bang Del tadi Nur.
Fan mah lebih pokoknya lebih mantap
kalau ada Konami Cup beneran di dunia nyata, wah MU juara terus kan.
Ya klubnya cuma 3 doang bikinnya.
Barca PS Atlanta.
Athletic Bilbao, Atalanta, astaga. Atlanta mah Itali.
Well anticipated though by Rai. He'll look to launch a counter. Ball into the channel for Iñaki to run on. Not much support for Iñaki Williams. He'll hold it up. And now he finds Berenguer, who might take on the shot, which is well blocked. Picked up by
Jadi di Bilbao yang tersisa siapa sekarang?
This time Koundé makes the clearance.
Inaki.
Oh ya, Inaki masih ada ya. Muniain juga kan masih awet kan di situ. Muniain kabut.
Makanya nomor 10 dia.
It's colder than what it should be. It makes it hard to feel that type of warmth that helps
Nico.
player. And also
Nico nggak di
it's a cliche, but in reality, when things are happening on the pitch and fans are reacting to it in a very obvious way,
Di Nottingham bedanya dia ada depannya Neko. Apa bedanya?
Deko. Nottingham.
Di Bilbao Nico, kalau yang di Nottingham Neko.
If you're a Barcelona player and you're used to Camp Nou, then it's a big contrast.
Yeah, most of these Barca players were here last season, of course, so they are starting to get used to their temporary new home. In fact, they were all here.
Dada Alvarez sama Gallagher bisa lah TM juara tahun ini. Ya muter.
Son Madrid terus.
Aduh, lepas lagi bolanya.
Bang Peri nggak jadi like Wukong ya Nur?
Nggak jadi keok Bang Peri turu.
Kan mau gaskan subuh, bentar lagi lah kali.
Like putting too much pressure, a lot of pressure inside when Barcelona is building up and forcing those long balls to the left side, and they've actually
Halo, distress.
both Valde and Ferran open, and I wonder if that's something that Atleti is actually consciously doing, just letting space outside, or is just a solution that Barcelona are going to be able to find to move forward. But there's a lot of space for Valde and for Ferran.
Football manager lu bukan Bang?
And here is Ferran receiving on the left and weaving inside, nice run. Shot away, he can, and it's on target. Alex Padilla, his first action of the game. 10 minutes in, the young goalkeeper of Athletic Club started last week with both Unai Simon and
Distress, iya kayaknya.
And the backup, Aguirre Zabala, out. And he did well enough that even though Aguirre Zabala is back today, he's only on the bench. And Padilla, who made his debut last...
Bocil numpang lewat.
Linknya keok.
Starts again today.
That's an interesting decision, right? Because you would think you want experience, specifically in a position like a goalkeeper, but it's also fair, and this is something that football players take very seriously. If you've given a good performance, then that should be respected somehow. I think that was the case, so great for the young goalkeeper to stay in.
Yeah, there's an interesting backstory as well. He was born near San Sebastian and then moved to Mexico when he was a toddler, lived there for the next 5 or 6 years, has a Mexican mother, and grew up there for a while before moving back to the Basque Country, eventually joined Athletic Club, but he does internationally play for Mexico. So a Mexican Basque in goal today for Athletic Club. And from his performance last week against Getafe, looks like he's ready to continue the great tradition of Athletic Club goalkeepers. They always seem to have great ones.
I don't know what they do there. I'm sure there's an answer to that, because they always find like the right balance of everything for goalkeepers, which is not easy at all.
Now here's Rafinha, Lamine Yamal trying to get into the area, really well read by Leque, who is the right back, but he saw the danger and raced across the penalty area to make the clearance. After the slightly loose touch from Yarai, but that's good defending by Leque.
Very good. We're seeing a lot of transition games, right? Like you would expect Athletic to be using those transitions to punish Barcelona, but we also see Barcelona recovering soon, which is good for them.
Rafinha.
Corner short to Lamine Yamal. He will angle in the cross.
Anjing.
Aduh.
Apa ini babi? Aduh.
Di reload coba Bang.
Hello. masih muda.
Ya, kagak aktif si Nobita WA.
Yeah, we saw that last week, didn't we? At the other end as well, when Valencia
Gak
nearly
aktif,
scored
bre.
with a cross
Si
from the
Eko,
left.
bre.
He was looking at the video screen exactly like that. Carlos, well pointed out. And then
Centang
a couple of
satu.
minutes later, Valencia
Apa-apa?
scored from a very similar position.
Si
So he
Nobita
does like
centang
to
satu.
review the action in game, which is a new development for coaches, isn't it? That ability that they have to immediately look at replays, and their assistants can choose any angle, any replay
Ya Allah.
that they want. So it's not as though they're just viewing our coverage. They can select their own, which is a great coaching tool in game.
100%. I feel it makes everything easier. Perhaps you have to be careful not to get lost on that, because obviously things are happening like the action live. But I think it's a very good tool to use if you know how to use it properly.
Allahu. Ada link yang mantep gak nih guys?
Biasa RB TV 77.
Ya, RB
It gives coaches
77.
the chance to review things way more
RB
carefully.
TV
And it seems like Hansi Flick
77.
is a fan of that.
RB.
The two Williams combine as Nico finds Iñaki. He just gets caught under his feet. Maybe
TV
took a bit too
77.
long on the ball there. Rafinha doesn't. He plays it nicely and quickly to
Tanpa
Lewandowski, who gives it
spasi,
back,
Bang.
and now Lamine Yamal is bundled
RB TV 77.
Yuri.
77 RD ya?
Oh,
Iya. Di Google coba. Di searching pasti ada nomor.
RB TV 77, RB TV 77.
RB TV 77.
And there are protests from the Barcelona fans wanting the referee
Nah, ya.
to produce a yellow card. Instead he's saying to Yuri, okay, that was your second.
Iklannya dia biasa.
The next one, you'll be booked. And he's maybe a little fortunate there to escape a yellow card. Instead he's saying to Yuri, okay, that was your second. We're not going to have any more. The next one, you'll be booked. And he's maybe a little fortunate there to escape a yellow card
Iya,
because
video.
he knew he was beaten. He just blatantly
Nah,
broke the
ini
run
baru
of Lamine
aman.
Yamal.
There's definitely the instruction of giving zero time and space to Lamine. He's definitely following that. But this is a long game, so 15 minutes in, referee's already saying this is the second one. So now Lamine is going to have a little bit more time and space. Let's see what he has.
Iya, tapi
It's interesting,
walaupun nggak XG, tapi lancar.
Barcelona is repeating the same pressure they
Nggak
did
kayak barusan.
against Valencia, where Lewandowski and Rafinha are coming inside with midfielders, and then are Lamine and Ferran Torres going with centre backs. So we're going to see later. We can draw attention to it because it's a very interesting way of approaching the pressure.
Here's the corner from Pedri. They try and work something clever. He doesn't come off, and it's ended by the foul from Lamine Yamal, who probably was happy to concede that foul, knowing that he was stopping a counter-attack, something that Athletic Club are very strong at. Yeah, that's an interesting point on the way that Barca apply pressure. And probably German football did lead the way, would you say, around a decade ago in maybe a little more in manners of pressing, as we see.
It's a definitely different approach. Exactly, and the fullbacks are left alone. We can see them in both flanks, and that's forcing both fullbacks from Barcelona to just stay in between. So this is the situation where they actually have more space. So Barcelona had the same issue against Valencia.
They worked their way forward well here after breaking the initial press, and that's either going to be offside or corner. Corner it is. I wondered if maybe Iñaki Williams was going to be flagged offside as the ball was touched onto him here, but he was just on. And as Barca were unable to clear their lines eventually, Kubasi slightly heavy with the back pass, Ter Stegen stretching, couldn't prevent the corner, and yeah, Barca were pressing. Athletic beat it quite easily and end up winning a corner just a few seconds later. Should be taken by Berenguer.
Football.
And it's attacked by Dani Vivian, who doesn't quite get a clean contact. He's saying to the referee, I think that he was fouled. Not sure there was much, if any, contact there. as he tried to force his way in front of Ferran Torres. 17 and a half minutes in at the Olympic Stadium in Barcelona, and honours even so far. Would you say either of the coaches is happier with what they're seeing right now?
I think they're probably trying to assess yet. I agree with you. There's so far it feels like even. There's no team that's being able to take the lead. A lot of transitioning, a lot of seeing what the other team is doing. Probably both can feel happy, but expectant to see how things move forward.
We just saw another slip off the ball there by Pau Cubarsí. A few players have been losing their footing. Of course, the pitch was watered before the game, and wonder if maybe some of the players underestimated that. Carlos, have you seen any indications from anyone about footwear maybe being unhappy about the state of the surface?
Well, just a quick reminder, Raul must tell us a lot about that. It's a new pitch. They installed this new grass 3 days before. Monaco maybe still a little soft, and I think the problem is a little there. The problem is the new pitch, I think, Raul.
Yeah, for what we see, there has to be an explanation, because once it happens 2, 3, 4 times, there's definitely we're going to see that happening more.
Yeah, and you can see quite a few divots appearing already over the field, as though it's cutting up fairly easily. So problems with footing could be an issue, especially defensively, of course. Here's Pau Cubarsí looking for Ferran Torres, who rides a challenge, finds Rafinha. All very congested there, but Athletic Club work it away with Prados. Balde wins the header, finds Lewandowski, and now Pedri, beautiful pass. Rafinha with the acrobatic volley, very well improvised. Great technique from Rafinha, and forcing the save. Fortunately for Athletic Club, it was straight at Padilla, but lovely link-up.
Yeah, it was beautiful. Well defined, although maybe the timing was perhaps too early, and that forced him to just turn and had to use his left foot, as opposed to just maybe getting that a little bit later and just being able to take the shot with his face facing the goal. But it was a nice finishing. He actually had more time if he would have wanted to take it, but it was a nice finish.
Here's Rafinha again, this time with the cross that's met by Rai, and now they'll try to break with Berenguer. That's a nice looking pass indeed for Nico Williams, who will drive inside now, taking on Cubarsí. Nico Williams deflected. Jules Koundé behind for a corner, but that
Nico Williams mengerikan kieu.
Those transitions there, they're going to exploit
that.
So
Gocekannya.
Hansi Flick is saying, well, I have Koundé to deal with Nico Williams. This is type of situations where you have to do with him, which is not just an easy 1v1.
Lihat tuh alas ya.
Out of position. Here we see how he tried to finish nicely. I think he probably would have
Itu tuh masih mending, coba kalau di situ tuh dipasang Sergio Roberto. Aduh.
As much as they can, those type of situations, and Barcelona have to be very well organized when they're attacking to avoid those.
Layaklah Sergio Roberto dijual ke Como. Tapi Como kalah hanya dibantai Juventus. 3-0 3-1 3-0.
Carlos Ferreira.
Ya.
Hello, ¿cómo estás?
Bad news. That's happening.
Halo, Badabes.
Está bien.
Who was left out by Ernesto Valverde. Look at his frustration, maybe, that no one was attacking that loose ball that was allowed to travel so far.
Well, they tend to be very good at it, right? Like set pieces is something where Athletic feels comfortable, and you would expect that someone would get the ball before it bounces off the ground, before it touches the ground.
Guys, sekarang beres.
Those are going to be situations that Athletic are going to again try to exploit. Transitions and set pieces are there for sure.
Ferran Torres does well, and here's Balde, deep cross. It's Rafinha, gets it back, cuts it back, away by
Joe Cancelo itu tidak diperpanjang apa Kuma?
well marshalled by
Ditutup.
Joe Cancelo.
him from breaking into space.
Mau aja nggak diregistrasi.
Cancelo emang udah mau dijual kali, Bang.
Siapa?
Cancelo mah emang udah mau dilepas kan.
Kan waktu itu pinjaman dari Barca, maksudnya pinjamannya nggak dilanjut.
Balik lah ke City.
Hah? Balik ke City kan?
Udah balik lah ke City kan.
Oh, dikira dilanjut perpanjang pinjaman.
And then usually what happens to be the case in second half, there's a lot of space.
Yeah.
Suddenly teams are tired, beginning of the season. So hot weather, exactly. So I feel Atleti is the team that can capitalize on that second half. If that happens to be
Dani Olmo sudah datang sebelum Gundogan pindah. Gundogan lebih udah main duluan tadi anjing.
despite of the intensity.
An imprecise challenge there from Alex Berenguer.
Nunggu si Lenglet cabut
Balde.
sama Vitor Roque.
How
Kalau
good for
dua-duanya
Barca to
udah
have
resmi bisa
him back.
masuk.
Alejandro Balde missed so much time
Olmo.
last season, but he is one of the best young left backs in the
Olmo asli,
world. So great to have him on the field again.
Yeah, no question. It's a great asset for Barcelona. Hard to think that he's not going to be there for the entire season in the 11. With a lot of projection too, which is crazy to think. Barcelona players so young,
So
still like
many of them.
room to improve, but still like a world-class performance.
Here's one of their veterans now taking the free kick. Pedri, he's 21, really old. He sends it in. Keeper comes and gets something on it. Out to Lamine Yamal. The shot is a good.
Anjing Yamal ngomong.
Nice.
Kelas.
Kayak gol Messi.
Mantap sekali.
He reacted late. And it was
Cantik
too late to
golnya.
prevent the shot from Lamine Yamal. Flying in just past the
Rapinya disimpan di kiri berarti.
Barcelona
Kamal. Lamine Kamal.
Lamine Yamal. Lamine Yamal.
Which is enjoying himself and having fun. I think.
Iya, belum dikasih nomor 10 teh lain Ansu Fati.
To the goal.
Dimarahin ko Justin sih.
Just having fun and enjoying themselves, which is great. And there was a lot of players too in between, right? I think maybe
taking a touch off someone, I think. We'll see here on the replay if there
Gila.
was a deflection and how big that deflection was.
Cantik golnya itu.
Aduh, tapi kena bola.
Kayak gitu banget, Cuk.
There.
yeah, he touches it, which makes it even more difficult.
Mantap.
I think Padilla does a great job first when
Oh,
he's
kena
steering,
bola juga ya.
but then
Flick ya.
it's interesting to think about Lamine Yamal taking always a very similar shot.
Keren
Still,
golnya.
despite the fact that you know that it's coming, still is effective. But yeah, there was a deflection there which is unlucky.
Would you criticise Uri at all for if you're going to get your head on it, get a proper contact on it?
There's always
Just do what you can.
there's always a debate with it. You don't know how good the deflect is going to be until you've already done it. That could have been very well the difference between a goal or saving it. So as a defender, you want to be sure enough that whatever interception you're going to do is going to be worth it. But it's always very hard to know.
Just reviewing maybe whether there was offside. Was there a Barcelona player in an offside position in the line of the goalkeeper's vision? But no, there wasn't. The goal is
Gak jadi gol kah?
Carlos. Barcelona have their first home goal of the season, and who else but the rising star, not just of Barcelona, but of world football, Lamine Yamal.
Gol lah, sah lah.
Oh iya. Sah.
Total explosion of joy when Lamine Yamal scored that goal, and it's not only about the goal. Every time that Lamine Yamal touches the ball, you listen to those murmurs, those little sounds from the crowd. Here's the beloved
Ngamuk
crowd.
gua.
Here's Nico Williams. He's not bad either, and so nearly an equaliser. We had one star of the Euros scoring at one end, and then immediately after the restart, Nico Williams with a wicked cross that nearly found Berenguer, and Marc-Andre ter Stegen in serious discomfort now as
Onana akademi Barca loh.
I'm sure there was any contact with anyone, was there?
Onana versi Barca.
Oh, he did catch Balde, yeah. Carlos, much concern among the Barcelona coaching staff about ter Stegen's physical state?
No, they just restarted the game.
Malah ketawa. Kan benar, itu kan faktanya, no.
Every time that he's touched the ball so far, it's not all the stadium, just a part of the fans from Football Club Barcelona whistling.
Comeback.
Which is a little bit harsh because,
Suwe
to be fair,
dah.
even if he wanted to go to Barcelona, they don't have any money. They can't buy him. So it's not exactly his fault that he's not playing for
Iya.
Barcelona now, but as football fans, isn't it?
That's how it works. Yeah, there's no patience for anyone. I guess it's
Betul.
either with us or against us, which
Tarkam.
makes sense, and also just helps to put a little bit of pressure on him to make him feel uncomfortable.
Now that's going to be another Barcelona corner after Uri was unable to guide it back to Padilla. The ball through the middle was looking for Rafinha. who looks like he's enjoying this central role, getting plenty of the ball, freedom to roam around. It's a dream for an attacker, isn't it?
Yes, as we were saying at the beginning, a creative player with and especially in this type of team where there's so much mobility. I think there's the add-on of the defensive work, but so far he's been doing very well.
He receives it now from Pedri. Rafinha dancing onto his left foot, looking for the corner. Deflected. Pau Cubarsí helps it down, and there was a high foot there, I think, from the defender. And so a free kick for Athletic Club. Yeah, that's adjudged to be dangerous.
Anjir, kena kepala.
Cubarsí put his foot in where Uriah's head was going. Uriah's head decisive in the goal as well. He had the last touch. And that's tough on the goalkeeper, wasn't it? Because he was moving in line with the ball and then it took that deflection. He didn't have time to react, or maybe could have anticipated it. Would you still say he could have done more?
It's hard to blame it into someone. I would say if I would have to put my focus on something is the fact that first Lamine is getting that ball in the box and then he's able to dribble a little bit before he takes the shot with no pressure. Maybe the best way to go about it is think about eliminating the shot in the first place as opposed to thinking of what we do once the shot comes.
Lovely play by Rafinha. And eventually Uriah had to make a sliding clearance. There's a nice fresh look about Barcelona. In the last 10 minutes or so they've been looking dangerous. There had been pressure before that goal. With the chance for Rafinha, a few dangerous balls into the box. As now Inigo sends it long for Ferran. We can't get there as Padilla comes out and gathers, but sounds like, Carlos, the Barcelona fans are responding. We hear one of their favourite chants going around the stadium, and he's feeling a lot like home at the moment.
Yes, the loudest moment of the match so far. I don't know the song. I'm sure Raul does. He wants to sing it.
I completely forgot about it. Right in this very second.
You are on a microphone, so if you feel like breaking into song, it's fine.
I'll let you know, guys, if the moment comes.
You can come back to us. Here's Oyan Sanset. Nico in the middle, spinning well to find Iñaki Williams, racing forward. Berenguer with him. Iñaki Williams still going. And that is a duel that has been played out on the training ground a few hundred times in the past, with Inigo Martinez going up against his former teammate Iñaki Williams and doing a good job in the end, preventing the shot.
Yeah, very well done. Actually, Alex Berenguer was coming through his right, so if he was talking to him, the best way would have been to just try to come inside to the left and maybe instead of just taking the ball that direction, but very well defended by Inigo. And again, Atleti being very dangerous in corners.
To be taken by Berenguer, outswinger. Ter Stegen gets a little bit on it, just about enough. As Nico gets there ahead of Lamine Yamal. It's forward from Prados. Sanset looked offside, and indeed he was, and that will take us therefore to the cooling break, as we heard from Carlos Ponte, our pitchside reporter. Sweating it out down there. It's 28 degrees at kickoff. Here is the goal.
And I believe, Andy, we're going to have the mics and the cameras with the Athletic Club huddle.
Okay, well, we'll listen into that after we see again this, the touch that just takes it away.
Cantik banget, golnya keren.
Goalkeeper's dive, and allows Hansi Flick to celebrate his first goal at home. And the players, unavailable players in the stands.
DJ kenapa tuh nggak main? Cedera. Kadang dengan Frenkie.
Apa ini? Turun minum.
Ya, cooling break.
Lo udah cooling break, emang panas sih.
We're not going to be able to listen in, that's a shame, but Ernesto Valverde, just noticing the camera, wasn't he? He was like, no.
It's interesting to see how coaches approach this, right? We've seen some coaches that are very happy to just share their thoughts.
Almost like they like it as part of a
Tapi
show.
enjoy
the opportunity to have their team talks broadcast.
I think there's a bit of that, and it gives us, for sure, fans and people like we're not there, so it gives us a lot of insight and super interesting information. And Mitchell, for instance, Baraja, we've seen very smart, clever, tactical approaches. But then other coaches that feel like, wait a second, if you guys are seeing this, well, probably someone will be able to communicate whatever I'm about to say. So I think when sometimes you're giving general indications, that's okay. But if you want to give like a very specific like change, or listen, we're suffering here, or they might suffer if we do this, then coaches are like, you know what, let me just do this.
Aing juga kaget ada kenapa ada itu.
Valverde is from that school of thought, obviously, just ushering the camera away. We saw Hugh Grant in the stands, a famous face, obviously. A lot of celebrities enjoy visiting the marvelous city of Barcelona. There's the added attraction at the moment of the America's Cup, great sailing race taking place in Barcelona. You're a fan of the America's Cup, Raul? I like to get out on the water.
I like to see it from the sand. Thank you. I'm like to stay in the shore. It's my thing. But I've been around when it has happened, and it's a very nice show to see. But despite the fact that I've been born in Barcelona, actually, so I'm a son of the Mediterranean. I don't go too far in it. I'll just stay in the coast.
It's for sunbathing on, not swimming in.
Exactly. That's exactly.
Belum siap dia.
Barcelona. One goal to the good. Lamine Yamal with the deflected shot, giving the hosts the lead.
Cameo aja bang.
Contested game. Pretty
Langsung cengir.
Lebih gede.
Possession.
Sancho,
Threat.
transport apa?
As athletic clubs pressure now tries to prevent Barcelona from escaping. Lamine Yamal pressed by Yuri, gets away from it to find Bernal. His pass is misplaced and picked up by Leque. And now Berenguer. Interesting, we've not yet seen Berenguer and Nico Williams swap positions, which often, last season in particular, you maybe see more of Nico on the right and Berenguer on the left, but that hasn't happened yet.
Hasn't happened, yeah. And Nico was going into the middle, right, and trying to play in that pocket of space. But he was also effective coming inside with his right foot and putting the cross when we saw Ter Stegen going to the ground. So I feel like he might feel there's a chance there for him yet. But I'm pretty sure we'll see that happening before the end of the game, because it gives it a little bit of dynamic and also makes it hard for Barcelona players to keep up. But yeah, it hasn't happened yet.
Here's Sunset stumbling over the ball, forced back to Dani Vivian. Now here is Nico Williams. Flicks it forward beyond Vesga. Lamine Yamal. Away from one, away from two, and still going. What a run. Rafinha. Prods it on. Lewandowski. He's got Ferran Torres. Oh, he goes for goal himself, and he hits the frame of the goal.
Nice.
Well, the angle was against him in the end, and he did have Ferran Torres waiting for a simple cutback, but when you've scored however many hundred
kalau
goals,
Hoylund pasti gol.
Lewandowski has, you're going to take on the chance yourself, I suppose.
And it was very well executed. It could have been inside easily, but yeah, Ferran Torres was coming, although Athletic Bilbao was closing in. I think Geray tries to go for the ball too fast and just allows for that pass, but also Lamine makes it look easier to just go past.
Nur nggak connect yan. Nur nggak connect yan.
He's deciding to join. Again, these transitions that we've been talking about, then Lamine has a lot of space, and he's used it in this occasion very well and very fast, so that gets for a very good occasion.
Saw a nice pass in there in midfield from Marc Bernal. 17. It's incredible what Barcelona are doing. You know, at the end of last season, we thought, oh, they've got another one. Pau Cubarsi's coming through. Now he's been around for a while. He's not news anymore. The 17-year-old, they got another one. Marc Bernal. And Casado on the bench at 20, Fermin on the bench. Just a stunning production line of talent that La Masia is able to generate.
Yeah, and it's, you know, sometimes it's what about from Mark Ter Stegen? But sometimes it's part of their philosophy, which is the case, but also there's a need for it, right?
Ferran Torres bursting through, and that's good refereeing because initially he allowed the advantage after Ferran Torres' run was checked, and then when there was no advantage, he just pulled it back and booked Yeray.
Ferran Torres,
nice run.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt. I was about to say Ferran Torres did a very nice run, but Ter Stegen found him completely alone, just put the ball there, which is one of the things that makes this goalkeeper so special. Great as a goalkeeper when he has to defend, but also gives so many opportunities for his team to build up, to move forward, to find the next pass, and it was brilliant here, and Ferran Torres continued that run.
And we were just talking about La Masia and all the players that Barca have produced. We'll come back to that because here's Lewandowski. Can't quite connect with Pedri. Athletic Club will look to break with Nico Williams. Sunset. A little bit of space for the Athletic Club playmaker. On to Berenguer. He's got three in the middle, including Vesga's joined the attack. The 1-2, and it's on to Nico. Back heel from him. Berenguer goes down under the challenge of Kubarsi, and the referee has a look, but says no penalty. Quickly Barca into transition with Lewandowski barging away from Dani Vivian. Lewandowski going down, and what's the decision now? Again, it's no penalty, so 2 penalty appeals within 30 seconds. Berenguer says, where's my penalty? So does Lewandowski. The fans obviously wanted one, but not the other.
Penalty.
What do you think, Raul? 2 penalty appeals, neither given, correct?
Well, I think both of them were rightfully asked for. I think in this instance, Vivian is going like shoulder to shoulder. I'm not sure that it's enough for a penalty.
Lewandowski initiated the contact there, didn't he? He stepped in front of him.
Yeah, it doesn't look like he actually has the position.
Right,
here, though, we see
one.
players. This looks a bit more complicated to me. Yeah. Looks like Kubarsi is going to the ground, and Berenguer has actually the position and could have done way more with it before he's taking it to the ground. So.
Yeah, what's the reaction in the stadium, Carlos, as the referee is called over? Let's see which one he's reviewing first. Probably the Athletic Club.
Let's see, just a curiosity, because in most of the stadiums in La Liga EA Sports, they don't show the actual replay that we see on the TV. But here in the Estadi Olímpic, they just showed exactly what everybody's seeing around the world. And of course, when it was the Athletic play, lots of whistles. When it was the Barca one, not that much. But meanwhile, Manzano taking a look at the play in the video assistant referee monitor.
And we know that what that normally means is that the original decision is going to be overturned and it'll be a penalty, and it's going to be a penalty. And from the replay we saw, as soon as we saw it, we're like, well, that could be a penalty.
That kind of looks like, Kubarsi goes into the ground when it's
Wah, satu samaan nih pasti.
a goal, so, and it's a fair yellow card. Whether the other side was a penalty or not, it doesn't matter. It's a clear one, so.
Another penalty.
We see sleeping players, which is makes it harder. You actually mentioned defensively we make things harder. So there you go. You see Balde going to the ground where he could have easily challenged the ball. So you know, their own pitch being making things complicated for Barcelona.
So it's Oyan.
Second yellow card of the season for Kubarsi.
Yeah, Carlos, thank you. 2 and 2 for him in terms of yellow cards, and Sunset then
Anggap atau enggak nih?
3 penalties in La Liga.
Gol sa second mah nggak bagus.
He's up against Marc-Andre Ter Stegen, a very straight run-up from Sunset. Can Ter Stegen, the Barca captain, keep his team in front? Sunset sends him the wrong way, and Athletic Club are back.
Dari kanan sih dia tuh ketahuan tuh tadi dari statistiknya.
Penalty spot, very confidently taken.
Stegen kiri mulu si Sanchez.
That represents way better what we've seen, right? It seems like a very equal, balanced game. Both teams were having their chances, and Barcelona wasn't perhaps being so dominant to get that 1-0, although they did it. But this now probably reflects what we've seen in this first half, with a lot of pace and coming to a second half, then I feel it's going to have way more space for both teams, specifically attacking. But defensively,
bener tebaknya. Kapten doang lu.
way more difficult in this moment of the season.
Very good penalty from Sanset. Carlos, were there many complaints from the Barcelona bench when the penalty was awarded?
Not that much. The truth is not criticism to the referee from the Football Club Barcelona bench. Well, lots of whistles to Sanset that gave a little dedicatory to the fans there behind the goal of Marc-André ter Stegen.
And so he gets his first goal of the season, and we're back to all square. And Rafinha controls beautifully. And it's now helped on. Sorry, it was his second goal of the season, of course. He scored a wonderful goal last week, didn't he, against Getafe. He got both the Athletic Club goals so far in this campaign. They drew that 1-1-1. Here's Lamine Yamal. Flicks it inside, just beyond Ferran Torres. We haven't seen much of Sanset so far today, playing in the attacking midfield role. How highly do you rate him? Player who's really come on in the last 2 or 3 years, still young.
I like him very much. I think the style of midfielders for Athletic are obviously a very different style for Barcelona, right? We're looking at very different approaches, and I think he does embody very well what the Athletic midfielder is. So, like, powerful, liking to go like box to box, smart but very intense, very comfortable defending, but also creative. I think it's a very good balance, and with a little bit, a lot of room to still growing, which is great. But yeah, it's a very interesting player to keep an eye on, with 2 goals in 2 games, so having a great start of the season.
Berenguer being harangued by Bernal, and too much so in the end for the referee's liking. That won't endear Ezequiel Manzano to the home fans, having just given a penalty against them as well. But it's settled down a little bit. It's been an eventful first half.
Yeah, a lot of things happening, and we were mentioning it before about Bernal, right? 17 years old. I think he had above 90% of accuracy last game, which is a lot in that position. And
6 minutes of adding time.
Yeah, so again, very interesting player, very young. We're getting used to these type of things, that it's not normal. We should not get used to it, because it's very unlikely that a 17, 18-year-old kid can perform at that level. So great for him. And also Marc Asolo did a fantastic game last week.
A little shove on Lamine Yamal. Here from Yuri. Not too much contact there, but enough to draw the whistle. Rafinha back to Kubarsi, another of the 17-year-olds, but it was his misjudgment that led to the penalty and the yellow card for him. Balde, Lewandowski. Clearance nearly bounced kindly for Ferran Torres, who's battling away now with Leque. And that's going to be a corner as Vivian's header drops behind. You also said it's been necessary for Barcelona. Imagine where they'd be if they didn't have this supply of world-class young talent, with the struggles they're having in the transfer market.
Yeah, so that's one of the concerns, right? The fact is, and as a reality, you have that talent to bring up and use, but at the same time, the reality is that you need it, because otherwise, and I think it's also fair to say that
it's a header back into the area. Lewandowski can nod it back, but Padilla takes it well, and now he'll look for a quick release. Good throw out, and it's Nico Williams. He'll take it inside, look for Iñaki, but the angle on the pass is not what he needed. Easy for Ter Stegen. But yeah, there's one thing having to play young players because of the lack of other players you've got available, and the other thing is them being good enough to actually keep a team towards the top of the table.
100%.
Incredible pressure when you're a Barcelona player, and the fact that you're 17 doesn't change that.
I cannot even think about. So, for instance, I made my debut when I was 23, so that it looked very different to me. But also, we're just talking about players that are carrying the team, right?
Ooh, nice move here that almost ends up with Rafinha linking up with Lewandowski.
Barcelona feeling a little bit more comfortable now with the ball, coming up by the end of halftime, having a little bit more combination, more triangle, more one touch, 1-2, which is what they want.
But yeah, just the point you made on the young players, they're not just there, they're playing very important roles.
Exactly. We saw Barcelona last year, we saw Lamine Yamal, so players that are there to just fill a space because they need them, but they were essentially carrying the team forward, which is even more unlikely.
Here's Nico Williams, and it's Beñat Prados, takes on a snapshot which is blocked by Inigo Martinez, well worked on by Lewandowski. Lamine Yamal will run. He's held up by Prados, but rides the challenge and still goes, finds Lewandowski. Balde cuts it back. Vivian with the header, where's it going to land? Pedri onto Rafinha. Rafinha has it blocked, pinball in the area before eventually scrambled away, but not far. Now Pedri again. Barcelona want to re-establish the lead before half-time. The pass for Koundé sends it a little too long for Lewandowski, but we see applause there from Hansi Flick, and it's been a good response from Barcelona since that penalty.
Yeah, probably Valverde not being happy with this. I feel like Athletic has been trying to use that counter-attack, that transitioning as an asset for them. But this moment of the game feels like there has to be a little bit of a pause, right? Just keep the ball a little bit. Don't make it too much onto the defensive approach, and let's find that transition, because otherwise you spend defending a lot of time, and that's very tiring. And Atleti players are probably one of the most physically gifted in this competition, but still you need to be a little bit patient, keep the ball, and as we say in Spain, defend with it, because otherwise it gets a little bit too challenging, and Barcelona players feeling comfortable right now.
And that phrase, defending with the ball, means you can just control the game. Obviously, if you've got the ball, the opposition can't score, so you've got the ball, but you're defending, taking pace out of the game, taking tempo out.
Literally managing the tempo, exactly. For me, it's all about understanding that perhaps in this very moment we are not comfortable. Perhaps in this moment we don't need to attack, we don't need a goal. What we need is to breathe, take our time, control the tempo, and from there start building. Otherwise it's to transition all the time.
Well, here's another transition with Balde racing down the left. He can find the pass inside to Ferran, and now Pedri. Lamine Yamal, 4 in the middle for him. Koundé outside him, trying to trick his way past Yuri. And in the end, he fouls Yuri, much to his disbelief and his managers, but good positioning from Yuri there.
Well defended. Maybe he went to the ground too fast. I'm not sure there was a foul there from Lamine that was just trying to continue running. Might see the replay and get a better look at that, but it looks like Yuri was getting his position won, so he just goes to the ground, and maybe he even injured himself in the process.
And lots of whistles right now at the moment here in the Estadi Olímpic, and the referee just called for the medical attention to attend their duty after that play.
His shoulder, it seems, the way he landed heavily on it.
Yeah, if that's the case, he's going to be out.
Now, you mentioned, Raul, you didn't like the defending, the space that Lamine Yamal was given.
I think that there's the fact that we see Atleti players coming too late to that. Like they are in between. Nico Williams is supposed to be in between the two players that are outside of the box, but it is a little bit too long to react and get to Lamine. And then once Lamine is crossing, going to his left, he's just really not engaging, letting the shot happen. So if you have to correct something, it's not so much the rebound or the goalkeeper position. I think it's way more making sure that the positioning makes it harder for a shot to be taken outside of the box.
Yeah, it's an interesting point, which is one that will take us into the half-time interval. We'll see whether Yuri is able to resume after the break, or if he has to be replaced. But it's all square at the Olympic Stadium in Montjuic as we reach the half-time whistle. It's been an engaging game. The opening goal, that one that we just saw from Lamine Yamal, courtesy of the deflection, but then Athletic Club getting themselves back on level terms with Oyan Sanset's penalty. Half-time then, Barcelona 1, Athletic Club 1.
Every match has that one moment that can change everything. Understand the skill and precision behind that play. With Beyond Stats powered by Microsoft and La Liga, millions of data points and AI technology come together to give you a new perspective on the game you love.
Go again.
They're rewriting history.
Where dreams ignite with relentless optimism, and doubters turn to believers. Underdogs and the defending champions go at it again.
Fantastic!
These are the clubs who carry our hopes and dreams. We believe this is our season. Only on Sports and BN Sports Connect.
Gua nge-chase dulu bang.
Chloe Chambers has taken the lead of this race from Abby pulling a fantastic moment from the Haas team. It's been an incredible strong performance from Chloe Chambers. She crosses the finish line first. We can't wait to do it all over again in Zandvoort.
Welcome to the Dutch Grand Prix.
I love it.
The fans are really special there.
It will be my home race, so I can't wait for that one.
I think it's going to be crazy.
13 destinations.
This is astonishing.
4 continents.
Oh my goodness.
1 championship.
It's outrageous.
Survival is just a consolation.
Greatest, most successful drivers in the history of this sport.
World Rally Championship, only on beIN Sports.
"96 years. A legacy of passion. A story for eternity. Ready for the next chapter? Welcome to La Liga. La Liga, live on beIN Sports.
I mean, anyone that pushes my sister out, I'm like, no, no, no.
They are the fastest sisters in all of motorsport. With an impressive performance in 2023, the Alpha Bassi sisters are ready to shine again. Amna, the older sister, was the first Emirati and female racer to compete in the Formula 4 UAE Championship 2019, having been the first female Arab to win a single-seater race.
It's getting exciting. We're pushing each other a lot.
She teamed up with her sister, Hamda, who became the first female racer to claim a podium in the Italian F1 Championship 2021. The dynamic racing duo are poised to carve their legacy in the world of motorsport.
Pushing hard, trying to get the maximum out of her car.
They are siblings and competitors.
Me and my sister cheered each other when she won her first race, and her cheering me. It's like nostalgic.
Look out for the Alcabasi sisters in F1 Academy on beIN Sports Connect.
There are sounds that never disappear from our minds. And that always come back to life. La Liga, live on beIN Sports.
Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Dutch Grand Prix
You can hear the roar.
Welcome to Zandvoort.
And we go racing in Zandvoort.
So close to contact.
Driving in front of your home crowd is amazing.
It's another perfect afternoon. Verstappen crosses the line to win 9 Grand Prix in a row.
Yes.
Hey, this is the world's game. It's played here and here. It's for everyone. This is where the next generation creates football's future. To get you closer to the game, closer to the joy, closer together. La Liga EA Sports, transforming the game.
Welcome back to the Olympic Stadium in Barcelona. Beautiful, beautiful setting. The Montjuic Hill perched above the city centre. It was built around 100 years ago, this stadium, and then redeveloped for the 1992 Olympics. We can see there in the foreground as well the indoor arena and the facilities of Barcelona and the surrounding region. We talked in the first half, still joined by Raúl Rodríguez, former Espanyol player from the city. We see the facilities here at the Olympic area of the city, but all around Barcelona and the surrounding towns is so well developed, and that surely is one of the reasons why this region produces so many great young football players.
For sure, it has something to do with it, 100%. I think there's a culture for football, obviously in Spain in general, but I think there's been a very clear idea in this club for many years to produce also specific type of player with a specific, very, very clear idea of the philosophy they have, right? I don't think all clubs have that clear, that you can recognize so well their identity. So, because
although these are two clubs who do that, with Athletic Club have their very fixed ideas of how they want to play, how they want to be as a club as well.
100%. I feel like having the identity then in a way comes down into the methodology on how you train these players, right? So I know very well what a number 8 for Barcelona is going to be. Therefore, when he's 12, 13, 14, I'm able to bring whatever knowledge he needs in the training session. So that facilitates that coming up that perhaps other clubs don't think through too much. So definitely Barcelona and Atleti have worked on this very well for the last few years, and then they also have situations we were saying before where they have the need. So you have everything you need there for rising stars to be on the pitch today.
Yeah, we've talked about the number of young players that Barcelona have, and Athletic Club, of course, famously only play Basque players who've been developed, at least in part, in their own region. That doesn't happen by accident. You don't just suddenly discover, oh, here's a good young player. It comes through nurture and culture, and these two regions, two cities, go about it in very different ways, but incredibly successful.
100%, and it's interesting to talk about, for instance, Athletic Club, when you talk about their methodology directors, you talk about people that are running the academias, because they know these are the players, and they are nurturing those players. Sometimes, you know, in professional academias with powerful teams, they know they can go and scout everywhere in the world, so they get scattered, and the energies are diffused. And because you don't
Chelsea springs to mind.
Okay, yeah, so there's some names in there. But because they're so committed with these players, they're just giving them everything they need, and it's successful, and is actually, if you ask me, I think it's a fantastic, tale about culture and football coming together in a very nice way, and giving rise to teams that are extremely competitive at the maximum degree, which is fantastic.
Yeah, and that also seeps through on the national level as well, as we saw this summer. Incredible summer for Spanish football, winning the Euros, winning Olympic gold, winning the European Under-19 Championships as well. Not a bad footballing country. And we've got two classic clubs of Spanish football in a good contest here today. One apiece at half-time. Carlos Ponte is our pitch-side reporter. Carlos, was there much activity on the pitch from the substitutes during half-time? Much sign of anyone coming on imminently?
Well, initially for Athletic Club, Adama and De Marcos were warming up by themselves, maybe thinking the possible injury of Yuri. Yuri is back to the pitch, no changes so far. So both teams, they have all of the players warming up for the last 5 minutes, all the bench players, but no substitutions are going to be made in this second half, at least for now.
No substitutions yet, and really the options for Hansi Flick, at least, are pretty minimal with the number of injuries they have, including Ansu Fati, and the relatively small squad that he's working with. We look at the bench, it's mainly young academy players. Probably the most experienced substitute that Barca have is Eric Garcia, who is himself young. Fermin Lopez, another one. Whereas Athletic Club do have the likes of Gorka Guruzeta, Ander Herrera, and Oscar De Marcos. So more experience on the Athletic Club bench when the coaches decide the time is right. So we're underway for the second half. Lewandowski can't control, and here is Sanset, the scorer for the visitors. A little short on the pass. Inigo Martinez can clear. Is there anything you're expecting to see different, Raul, in the second half from either from one of the two teams or in the general pattern of play?
I think we're going to see, we mentioned a bit of this in the first half. I think the script tends to be very often, second halves, our teams are broken up in two, a lot of space. It tends to happen after the first 10, 15, 20 minutes. And it happens because of many variables, one of them being that it's the beginning of the season, so physicality is not yet there. It's very hot. Sometimes coaches are stepping in, so they're still developing.
As in the case of Hansi Flick.
Exactly. So there's a good chance, and if that happens to be the case, and we see way more space happening, I kind of feel like Atleti can take a good advantage of it. But we'll have to see, because we have many creative players on the pitch. So if there's more space and time for them, we might see definitely more action in the second half.
Well, there was plenty of action in the first half. Even more of it in the second half sounds good to me. As Rafinha spreads a nice pass to Balde. He'll drive inside, but the reverse pass to Ferran Torres doesn't quite come off. One back, though, by Pedri. Wonderful touch from him. And another one to get away from Berenguer. Pass inside is beautiful as well. Ferran Torres laying it back, looking for Rafinha. It reaches him via a deflection. The Athletic Club can clear. Lovely play from Pedri, and I think a wish from everyone who enjoys watching Spanish football, even Real Madrid fans, might wish for an injury-free season for Pedri.
He needs that, right? And we need that too. We need him to be healthy. This is another beat of this conversation we're talking about with young players, right? It's super interesting to see how young players now, compared to 10, 15, 20 years, the amount of minutes they play, whether it's like national team with their teams. There's so many competitions that are coming. So players that are important as Pedri, and have so many minutes under their belt. Hopefully they're going to do it without injuries.
Lovely work by Lewandowski on to Balde. The cross is met by Irai, and Berenguer can feed it on to Sanset, who was just caught there by Bernal, and he is going to get a yellow card.
There's the second yellow card of the game for Football Club Barcelona. Pau Cubarsí at the end of the first half on that penalty, and now Marc Bernal. Look at the 3rd minute of the second half. Regarding the players warming up, Andy, it's a new rule for this season. Up to 5 players can warm up at the sideline, so it's more difficult for us to guess the intentions of both managers. For Barca and for Athletic, up to 5 players right now warming up at the moment.
Yeah, and that just reflects the ever-growing nature that football is taking on as truly a squad game. You know, not so long ago there was 11 and then maybe 1 substitute, and it was 3 substitutes. Then it's 5, and now 5 can warm up. Now even 6 substitutes if there's a concussion. So it's becoming more and more and more of a squad game, and that's something that coaches certainly will welcome, the opportunity to spread the time. And probably players as well, because you know you've got more chance of playing.
Yeah, I have to think that it keeps you way more engaged, right? If you know for a fact there's going to be just 2 substitutions, that's going to happen. You kind of guess what those plays are going to be. Now this is a very different game, and as we were saying before, there's like so many competitions, so many minutes to be played. Now it's a necessity that pretty much all the squad is engaged, and so there's rotations happening way more than happened before. I think that's very good for everyone, for sure for players.
Here's Berenguer sending in the cross that is cleared away, out for an Athletic Club throw-in. 5 minutes into the second half, a nicely balanced game at the Olympic Stadium. Leque doesn't quite find the pass he wanted, but possession is retained by Athletic Club. And here is Leque, tries to flick it to Iñaki Williams but doesn't find him. Pedri to Cubarsí. Pedri again. Dances away from Nico Williams. Koundé. Lamine Yamal. Such wonderful balance and control. And now he looks for Koundé. It's going to fall loose for Rafinha, but the offside flag is up. It went up long before Rafinha took on the shot. It was raised as Koundé tried to break forward. Not talking about the demands on players, that they're greater than ever before. The game is faster than ever before, more physical than ever before, and there's more games than ever, and never the case more so than this year with new format for the Champions League, 2 extra group stage games, so 8 group stage games minimum for Barcelona. Athletic Club are in European competition as well, of course, in the Europa League, and we've just come out of the Euros. And for some clubs, the lucky ones, they're into the Club World Cup, which doesn't finish until next July. So it just is becoming pretty non-stop, isn't it? Which is a big burden on players.
I mean, if you ask me, I remember it being very demanding physically, and I never experienced this environment that you just described. So I can only imagine how it feels. I have to assume that during the week, and actually know that during the week, the load of work has been somehow rethought, because you cannot make...
Now here's Ferran Torres. No offside flag at the moment, and now it does go up, but only after Alex Padilla makes a decent save. Torres will perhaps be a little relieved he was offside, because it wasn't the greatest of finishes after nice build-up play. There he is, clearly offside. Nice pass from Rafinha. Not a great finish, though, from Ferran. But well watched by the goalkeeper.
Yeah, very well defended by Padilla. They saw that coming. Maybe Ferran knew that he was offside and he just played it. But still, you have to finish it inside just in case. But yeah, just to finish off that thought, I think we have to be very careful. Not we, when we can just like raise our hands, but I think clubs are doing it more so. When we're talking about 17-year-old kids, are they able to take such a load? I'm not sure. I don't know. That has never happened before in history. And we're seeing so many young players. We see Pedri, but we see Gavi too. We see how many players that have taken many minutes and injuries. So that's definitely a conversation that's happening in the industry.
Yeah, Pedri is a prime example of it. When he played his breakthrough season for Barcelona, played pretty much all season, then went to the Euros, then went to the Olympics, then was injured, and we didn't see much of him for a long time. And perhaps an even greater warning sign is in the stands for Barcelona at the moment. Ansu Fati, when he broke through at 16, stunning talent, series of injuries. Was that just bad luck, or was he overplayed? It's a debate that now is probably not the time and place for it, but certainly something for Barcelona to be aware of with this young man, Lamine Yamal. How much playing time will he get over the course of the season? There will have to be times when he's rested where Hansi Flick just says, you're not playing, you're not even a substitute, get some rest.
It's going to have to happen, yeah. But it's clear that the more, in this case, we saw Pedri serving that ball to Lamine, the more he's on the ball, the easiest is for Barcelona to build and to find solutions. He didn't have that space in the first half. Now we saw him 3 times already in these first minutes to actually get on the ball and build slowly. And that's going to help Barcelona to just find new ways of moving forward. For now, we see Barcelona being very comfortable on the ball. We didn't saw them that much in the first half. So far, it seems they are way more patient, and the rhythm of the game is just slowing down a little bit.
Yeah, Barcelona looking in control at the moment. Athletic Club will be waiting for chances to spring onto the counter-attack, though, as Inigo Martinez looks cross-field. It's cut out by Yuri. It's a rather aimless pass from Vesga straight to Koundé, who can find Lamine Yamal. Rafinha making the run, but patience, as you said, I think that was a word you used. It does seem as though Hansi Flick has told his players, take it easy, take control, take your time, build up gradually. That's what they're doing again now. Bernal gets it back from Kubarsi. Pedri, Balde, Lewandowski among those in the middle, waiting for a cross. Balde does well. Berenguer fouls him, and he's probably going to get a yellow card. Indeed he is. Which I believe Carlos is Athletic Club's second of the game.
Yes, indeed. Giray, the first one, and now the second yellow card shown to Alex Berenguer.
And Carlos, is there much intensity among any of the substitutes? Does it look as though there might be any changes soon? We're getting towards that time of the game, approaching the hour mark.
Not yet. The same 5 players of each club that started to warm up after the second half whistle. They'll continue to warm up, but not any signal that they're going to come in or come on anytime soon.
So free kick for Barcelona. Rafinha with the outswinging delivery. Lewandowski off the post for the second time today. And Padilla in the end could fall on it under pressure from Koundé. Nice high five between them, but Robert Lewandowski so close, he was left unmarked. Criminal, really, from Athletic Club to allow a player of his quality a free header 6 yards from goal inside of the post, and so nearly the second goal for Barcelona.
Oh, it looked like there were 2 Athletic players in between, but it was not very defined who was marking him up, which is, I mean, Lewandowski is one of the players that you don't want to give space in that context, so it looks like a mistake from Athletic. And just to rewind a little bit, you were saying very right so that Barcelona seems to be a little bit more patient right now, taking their time, not to go forward necessarily all the time. Here we see Pedri just taking their time. I don't think that's the case with Athletic. We saw Mikel Vesga actually in the previous play just going a little bit too fast, in my opinion, just getting a little bit precipitated, and yes, probably part of the instruction is to use those transitions. As soon as we recover the ball, let's look forward fast, but then you have to think about, okay, is it worth it to do it all the time? Is it worth it to just keep losing the ball? Might not be the case that we can just relax a little bit, and I know what I'm saying, sometimes it's against the spirit of Atleti, which is very forward.
Here's Rafinha looking for Ferran Torres. Great diving challenge from Dani Vivian, and again, that directness that you mentioned. As soon as Athletic won it, they went long, but again, they lose it, and that just invites Barcelona to come back on them, as they do, with Rafinha finding Lewandowski. Ferran, Lewandowski, challenged by Vesga, no foul, Sanset spins away. And now maybe they will just slow it down a bit.
I think they need to. They need to, because otherwise, we saw Iñaki actually asking for a little bit of calm, because otherwise it's going to be a very long second half for them. Barcelona feeling like now they're just pressing the gas.
Yeah, certainly feels that way. Their visiting defence is being stretched. Will Barcelona stretch them to breaking point? On that occasion, it just breaks down on the edge of the area again, and look at how long young Alex Padilla is lying on the ball. When a goalkeeper does that, you know that he's feeling a little under pressure, that his team is under pressure.
That's a good reading from him, right? That's what the team needs right now. Let's move up a little bit. Let's get some space, because that Athletic, as we were saying, like they're feeling it's a bit harder to stay on the ball, but it's all about decision making.
They want to try and play the game in Barcelona's half for a minute or so at least, just to re-establish themselves in the game. And now they are more patient. Get it back to Padilla again.
There will be a double substitution in Athletic Club. Andy Auresigar and Unai Gomez are preparing to come on.
So those changes will be, one assumes, at the next break. It is now Athletic turning on the acceleration again. Nico to Iñaki to Sanset. Mishits it, but turns into a problem for Ter Stegen. I don't think I'm being ungenerous to Sanset to say that was a mishit cross and that he wasn't shooting, or was he maybe?
I think you're not. I think it was it kind of feels like it was a mistake, that he was actually trying to get a way more tight and fast cross, but still good enough to get a corner. We keep saying that Athletic tend to be very good at set pieces. They haven't proved so far, but this has to be one of the chances for them. Also, historically, Barcelona not feeling comfortable defending them, so we'll see.
An hour played, Athletic Club on the attack. They haven't done that much in this second half. It's Berenguer with the delivery and an easy catch for Ter Stegen, who will look to release a quick counter-attack. The throw out on now to Lamine Yamal, who can release Rafinha. What a counter-attack, but it's too heavy. The pass for Lewandowski, who has to battle just to keep it in, and then wins the free kick. A clumsy challenge from Leque, but what a counter-attack from Barcelona. Just a shame it was spoiled by this pass in the end from Rafinha.
Not a good pass from Rafinha, but it's the second time, and the first one was Barcelona's goal, where after a set piece from one of the teams, Lamine Yamal is with the name now eludes me. So we've seen twice Nico Williams and Lamine Yamal together. Yeah. So Nico is defending Lamine. I don't think it's a very good strategy. Like, you have Barcelona playing with a lot of space, and Nico Williams is probably not the best player to defend Lamine Yamal.
Rafinha's free kick is cleared away to Pedri. Nice pass. And the shot coming in from Lamine Yamal from the edge of the area, similar position that he scored from in the first half, not on this occasion. And now Carlos, those substitutions for the visiting team.
Yes, the players that will come off the pitch are Mikel Desca and Ollán Sanset, the goal scorer for Athletic in this encounter, the number 8 of Athletic. And as we said, the players are coming on. Unai Gomez, changing jersey for this season, the 30 for the 20 that he will wear for the 24-25 campaign. And Auresigar, he played for 7 games in the 23-24 campaign.
So a double change from Athletic Club, both of them in midfield, and that tells us, doesn't it, Raul, that he feels a need for a bit more energy in there, in the centre of the field.
I think...
And just interrupt, guys, because Football Club Barcelona will also make their first substitution, and we can hear the ovation. It's to Fermin, the Euro Cup winner, the gold medalist in Paris, just coming onto the pitch, replacing Ferran Torres.
What a reception he got, and one assumes that he will go into the centre of midfield, just behind Lewandowski, and that Rafinha now will move over to the left wing. And that certainly seems to be the case at the moment. Rafinha on the left flank, as Pedri again shows some silky skills. And what a reaction for Fermin as he came on, a standing ovation, and that was in acknowledgement of his spectacular summer helping Spain win gold.
Yeah, he had an amazing season last year and also fantastic summer. So people are obviously very excited. I think it's a great time for these changes right now. Atleti seems to be needing a little bit of more energy just to stay on the game because Barcelona is feeling comfortable. And then
Rafinha with a great cross. Lewandowski has it saved by Padilla. What a stop that was. Koundé to Lamine Yamal. Will he have another go on goal? Well defended by Yuri, but he'll try again. Flicks it in. It's cleared as far as Bernal. Barcelona will recycle it back to Pedri and try again. Is Fermin, his first touch. Finds Balde. Just forced back by Berenguer. The crowd certainly responding. And as Barcelona continue to press for the lead. Koundé. Lamine Yamal. And still, but in the end he runs into the challenge. And in fact, he is adjudged to have fouled Unai Gomez, which will come as great relief to the visitors because they were under pressure. And particularly here, Rafinha doing well. Nothing wrong with the shot from Lewandowski. That's a fine save.
It's a fantastic save, and it's very poorly defended by Atleti defenders because Lewandowski is running all the way from behind the first post and into the back, and no one's following him. So second half that actually Lewandowski had a clear shot on target. Fantastic save by Padilla, so up close. Yeah, 20 years old.
Well, made an amazing save last week from Carlos Alanyat to prevent Getafe from probably winning that game at San Mamés, and that was another really good stop. Lewandowski, though, twice the last 10 minutes or so, he's been left completely unmarked inside the penalty area. Here's Nico Williams on the run for Athletic Club, and it's not too far away. I think they're asking for a corner. Feeling there was a deflection on that cross shot from Nico. But no, that seemed to be an optimistic claim. But Carlos, we're approaching the midway point of the second half now. We hear the noise swelling up again. There have been criticisms of this stadium in the last year or so since Barcelona moved here, that it's not got the atmosphere, people don't like going there. But it's not the case today.
Not at all, and lots of criticism last season for how cold the stadium can get regarding to the noise, but the people with lots of expectations, the people chanting, the people supporting the team, and in lots of moments, it's been very loud this afternoon, tonight in the Estadi Olímpic de Madrid.
Well, long may that last. Let's hope that Barcelona fans, as well as the players, become more comfortable in this stadium, make it feel like their own this season, their second season. Temporarily here, as Balde does well to trick his way past Berenguer and Leque, and wins another free kick.
And we see Fermin and Pedri getting on the ball a lot right now, right? And Rafinha, and linking and just going in and out. And then Balde, what a personality, because the easy call would have been just give the ball back to Pedri and just position yourself against a defender, but he just decides to take over two defenders from Athletic and getting this fall. So again, Barcelona, if we had to bet all our money right now, Andy, it would be your money because I don't have a lot, but if we had to, right now Barcelona seems like they're really tilting the ground and feeling very comfortable offensively and defensively.
Rafinha's free kick travels all the way through to Jules Koundé, and he can send in another cross. But he doesn't direct it well, and it goes behind for the goal kick. Midway through the second half, and it certainly feels that way, that Barcelona are the team who are pushing to win this one, but it doesn't always transpire like that. Last night, I was watching the game, commentating on the game. Sevilla looking like they were going to score the winner against Villarreal, and then what happened? Villarreal got it in the last minute. So you never know.
You never know, and that's one of the beauty of this game, right?
That's why we keep watching, isn't it? There's Nico Williams. Forward comes Yuri. Nico making a run, receives it, and across goal, Ter Stegen bats it away, comes back for Gomez, and Yuri. Gomez laid back, and Jarikithar is able to find Vivian, and now Berenguer into Iñaki, who looks for Gomez, and why didn't he go for goal? Iñaki Williams, I think he was offside anyway, but Ernesto Valverde looking a bit perplexed there, and maybe a bit too generous from Iñaki.
Unnecessarily generous, I would say, because it would have been easy to put the ball on the ground with his chest and finish it off inside. Maybe he thought he had someone behind, or he wasn't unsure, but it looked like a perfect scenario for a central forward to finish it off.
And just a reminder that Athletic Club still in this game as an attacking force, although they've been on the back foot in this second half. Is Balde making another good run? In the end, Jarikithar can stop that break, but it's now back for Lewandowski. Deflected, falls for Rafinha, 3 in the middle. Rides the challenge of Leque and settles for the corner. More pressure building from Barcelona, and it's been a bright performance from Rafinha, who wasn't an automatic starter last season. He's probably overshadowed by the hype around Lamine Yamal, the understandable hype, but he's been bright today.
Fantastic. I think last season he only finished like 3 games or 4 games, 90 minutes. He's always been substituted or coming from the bench.
Lamine Yamal's cross, Iñaki with the header that will be allowed to run for a throw-in by Koundé.
Yeah, but actually Rafinha got 90 minutes last week, and it seems like maybe he might get them again because he's performing. He's actually helping the team link offensively, working defensively, looking very good in this season so far.
Inigo Martinez, Lamine Yamal, well defended by Berenguer. He launches it long. Iñaki will chase it. Ter Stegen needs to be careful, and he is. He finds Koundé. Got to be some tired legs in that Barcelona midfield. Bernal only 17. Pedri coming back from injury. See how long they last as Rafinha on the burst again. Looks for the 1-2 Lewandowski. Comes back to Lewandowski. Lamine Yamal didn't want to hit it with his right foot. Koundé looks for Lewandowski, who just gets onto it, but the angle was against him, and it's into the side netting. But they're showing good invention, good variety of attack.
Yeah, Koundé makes an interesting decision because he had Fermin right there, but it's a good cross, but it's a little bit too high. Lewandowski tries to change the direction of the ball, but it was very complicated. Still, Barcelona finding different solutions, and Atleti having a lot of issues to keep the ball, find attacking possibilities, and so far struggling defensively to keep the result 1-1.
Second window of substitutions for Athletic Club. The player that will abandon the pitch is Alex Berenguer. He becomes the 3rd player to step off the pitch, and the player that replaces him is Edu Ares. He's making his debut in the 24-25 season.
Yeah, young player, Malcolm Edu Ares, 22, made 12 league appearances last season, and he is a straight swap for Berenguer on the right wing. We've talked a lot, rightly so, about the incredible production of youth talent that Barcelona have produced. Athletic Club not too far behind in that respect as well, and Ares is one of those. There's Balde having a really good impact in the second half in particular, but it's back with Padilla. Rafinha's foot onto it. But now forward for Ares, his first touch, and he'll have a run. Gets inside, and it's on for Iñaki Williams, who can win the corner with the challenge from Pau Cubarsí. And maybe just a sense now that the game's getting a bit stretched, Raul, opening up a little bit.
It seems like, right? It seems like suddenly lines are more open, more separated, and it takes a little bit more time for players to engage, to challenge each other. So that's probably, as we've been saying during the game, these last 20 minutes are going to have a little bit more of that, more of time and space for players to decide. And that is actually making a fantastic decision with that run going inside for Iñaki.
Nico with the corner. Not very well cleared by Lamine Yamal, and Ares can find Nico again. That's a good ball in, just beyond Iñaki. Yamal wanted too much time. The shot on the turn comes in from Beñat Prados, but easy for Ter Stegen. And now Koundé. Brilliant crossfield ball, controlled effortlessly by Pedri. Pedri looking for Fermin, who always is willing to attack the penalty area. Now, Ares, outnumbered. Koundé makes the block, finds Lamine Yamal. Pedri again. Bernal. Rafinha wants to get it onto his left foot. Isn't allowed to do so. Now he will as Balde finds him. Lovely reverse pass for Pedri. Across goal.
Yep.
Goal! And it had been coming. It had been coming from that man as well. He hit the post earlier in the half. He forced a great save. Third time lucky for...
Kill the game ya memang, kill the game.
And with just over 15 minutes...
Kill the game guys ya, murun.
Have a deserved lead, and it's that man again. He was their match winner last week. Will he be again today? Robert Lewandowski.
Very well deserved, right? He kept pushing, he kept showing up in the box. Pedri had an early pass to him, decided to go for Fermin, who was doing the run, but eventually Pedri found the way. Balde has been pushing a lot in this side of the pitch. Pedri very smart, tries to go deep, and then Lewandowski just happens to be and finish it now just inside. It's been coming, and now it's going to be very complicated for athletic players. As we're saying, everything can happen, but it keeps the feel is like Barcelona are feeling comfortable, and this is probably well deserved.
Yeah, it had been looking just a matter of time as Lewandowski wheels away in celebration. No doubt about that one. And it sounds, Carlos, as though it's party time in the Olympic Stadium.
No better way to describe that, Andy. A total celebration right now in the Estadi Olímpic. I can tell it's been the loudest right now when both teams are going to the sideline to talk to the managers to have a little footballistic timeout, as we can say now.
Belum minum itu sudah menit sekali sih.
Isn't it, in some other sports, and one that comes at a perfect time for Ernesto Valverde, because his team have been up against it in the second half, and now they've got to against it in the second half, and now they've got to find a response somehow.
And now it's harder, right? Now so much trying to find that spot. Now with these transitions they've been trying to work on for the whole game. Now when there's 15 minutes left and there's not too much energy, then it's way more complicated to ask for players to make those runs. And also we saw Hansi Flick telling to Fermin, getting to the ball, and it seemed like he was saying play, 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 just get associated link. Maybe we don't need too many runs right now in the box. I'm imagining that's more or less the talk.
Keep control.
Just control the pace, control the rhythm, because they have everything they need to win this game.
And that is the difficulty for Athletic Club, isn't it? They're a goal behind now, with time running out against a team. They're very good at just keeping the ball.
They're going to make it very hard after this, because this is the place where they feel comfortable. Being dominant, being on the ball, controlling the pace, that's the place where these players shine. And now for Atleti, it's a matter of new changes to just move a bit the situation.
Yeah, Carlos, two more changes. It'll be the final two from Ernesto Valverde, and pretty predictable ones in the circumstances.
Yes, the two players are coming up by Guruzeta, the lead goal scorer of Athletic the last season. It was a surprise to see him on the bench at the starting of the game. And Ander Herrera, experience in the midfield line there for Athletic.
The question is whether Guruzeta will play up front with Iñaki Williams or instead of him, and it is the latter as Iñaki
Prados
makes
and
way.
Iñaki abandoned the pitch. Yes, Prados and Iñaki Williams, the players that are coming off.
So that won't change anything in terms of the shape. Herrera will go into the centre of midfield in place of Beñat Prados, and Guruzeta will lead the line, supported by Nico Williams and Malcolm Aduares. question, maybe more than anything, Raúl, is where do Athletic Club find the energy now?
Now it's tough. Now it's hard to... You have to just empty the tank, and there's not much room for another strategy, right? Like that now it's not a time to be patient, as we have been asking for a bit. Now patience doesn't really serve you in any way, so you have to move forward with everything you have. And again, once more, spaces are going to be opened, and it would be unlikely for Barcelona to take them. But now is definitely a challenging moment for Atleti to turn this over.
Barcelona will look to just keep the ball, or maybe they'll look to do more as Fermín finds Rafinha. He's got Lamine Yamal outside him. Here he is. Tries to spin away from Yuri, who was wise to that and just blocks it. He's a cheerleader as well as a gifted footballer, and the fans respond. Very happy to bring the noise for Lamine Yamal.
And Eddie Garcia will come on for Barca.
We'll see whether that is as a defensive midfielder or maybe even as a third centre-back. He can play in either position. It's Balde. Pedri riding a challenge from Herrera, who's quickly snapping into heels. That as Pedri couldn't quite keep it. It's a very demanding start to the season for these players. We've got 2 more games coming up over the next 6-7 days. Midweek fixtures, and then the respite of an international break for some of them anyway, those that don't travel.
Some of them that were very challenged during the summer too, so with very short break you come back and then just games back to back. So it's a moment to have a big squad, which unfortunately I feel Barcelona are not in that group. Or you have to trust, as we have been saying, very young players, just give them a chance and see how they do. That's been working very well for Barcelona. We haven't seen Marc Casador today, but he was fantastic last week. Marc Bernal, I think, fantastic game tonight too, so far.
Very mature performance for a 17-year-old.
100%.
Balde just too heavy for Rafinha. Eric Garcia waiting to come on. Athletic Club have made all their changes. Hansi Flick for Barcelona, just 1 so far. But as we've said earlier, he doesn't have many experienced options. Padilla looking for Nico, who brings it down on his chest. Herrera on to Yuri. Nico, still full of running. Will work it onto his right foot. He couldn't cross the ball there, but elects to keep it. Now he sends it in, but he was under pressure from Lamine Yamal. And he's staying down as well. That's worrying. Hopefully it's just fatigue.
Yeah, we mentioned that Barcelona were pressing in a very specific way that they also used in the first game of the season against Valencia, and they had some issues. It took some time to adjust. Nice. They were not challenged today. Using the same approach, both fullbacks Athletic fullbacks received the ball with space and time just twice in the entire game, which speaks very well in both directions. One, Hansi Flick actually adjusting this very well, and then also Athletic actually not being able to find the 3 men. It wasn't challenging, and this player receiving a very well-deserved ovation.
And what a moment, guys. 17 years of age and receiving your first standing ovation for Football Club Barcelona. Marc Bernal, the player that comes off, and Eddie Garcia, the second substitution for Football Club Barcelona, initially to play there as a central midfielder.
Yeah, a role that we might see a fair bit of him this season, with the departure of Oriol Romeo, who never really featured towards the end of last season anyway, and Gundogan gone as well. Eric Garcia looking to re-establish himself at Barcelona, having himself spent last season with Girona. Very good season for him, playing as a defender, as a centre-back, which is probably his primary position.
for sure, no question. He's a central defender through and through. An amazing season with Girona. But if he wants to find minutes, he's going to have to do it in this fashion, right? He does have to find those moments, and probably that's going to be in this position, where he's done some good job before. It's not a new position for him, but it's a very different one than being a central defender. Although now in this moment of the game, where Barcelona is just looking to let the game die, so to speak, he's going to be playing a very similar role as a central defender. But he's going to have to adjust this season.
Very tired-looking cross there from Lecque. Athletic Club's attacks have been pretty well balanced between the left and right flanks. They're going to have to find the energy for their next game at home on Wednesday. They host Valencia. That's an interesting looking one. Valencia with a slow start to the season, 2 losses. Robert Lewandowski's getting booked here. The use of the arm as Uriah challenged him. It does seem a little harsh on Lewandowski. Just did put his arm out a little bit. Didn't seem to be to the face. But anyway, he's got the yellow card. The free kick's been taken well to Nico Williams. Back for Yuri now. Cross is a good one. Uri can't get clear contact on it. Here's Ares. Poor cutback. Straight to Rafinha. Oh, lovely nutmeg from him. And then he buys the free kick. Outstanding play from Rafinha. First to make the interception, then to beat one man, and then to win the free kick to end that spell of pressure. But it was a good ball into the box that wasn't far from finding the head of Uri.
What a commitment from him. We were saying that he hasn't played too many games, 90 minutes. I want to say it was like 3-4 games last season. It seems like it's going to be 2 this season, and he's been delivering, especially with a lot of defensive play too, which is not obviously what he's there for, but just working till the end, making sure that he's helping his teammates. So probably we're going to see a little bit more of him this season. Definitely way more minutes because he's earning them.
Yeah, becoming a senior statesman of the squad, really. So many young players. It needs the experienced ones like Lewandowski, Rafinha, to take that extra burden of leadership, which Rafinha certainly looked willing to do today, as he showed there by racing back into his own penalty area. He can pick up a loose ball here as well. Flicks it inside for Lewandowski. Back to Rafinha. Was he pulled back there by Lecque? That's a yellow card. The fans were hoping for a red because he was close to being the last man, but it looked like there was cover, and he was a good 40 yards from goal. So just a yellow for Lecque. Red would have been a little harsh here, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it's still the possibility for other athletic defenders. Uri was somehow close, I think close enough to challenge Rafinha before he got inside the box, but yellow card was pretty fair. And again, Rafinha starting up from behind, and very well Lewandowski just being that reference that he also can be, and sending that ball over. But I think a yellow card was more than fair.
Yeah, I mentioned the role played by Rafinha today. Lewandowski absolutely has led by example as well. Linking play well, and of course posing a threat. Hit the post twice, and then finally getting the goal that at the moment looks like being the winner. We'll have a fair number of minutes added on though, so we've still probably got at least 10 minutes left. As Rafinha and Pedri stand over the free kick, it'll be the Brazilian. Headed back inside towards Kubarsi, who goes down. Maybe he was caught by a loose arm or a mid-air collision.
Yeah, I think the possible concussion, because he gets here against Vivian's head, then that stops the game immediately for the referee to check on him.
Yeah, no blame attached to Vivian, no question that it was a penalty, it was just a collision. And Kubarsi happily is quickly back to his feet. As we see again, the goal that sent Barca ahead, great run by Pedri.
Yeah, very well run, very well seen from Rafinha, not very much followed. but then also all Atleti players are just looking at the ball. There's not really oriented towards the attacking players of Barcelona inside the box, so it's very hard to defend, to react to when the ball is being deflected. But then it's a fantastic finish from Lewandowski.
Here's Aduares with a good run. Will take him to the byline, cut back dangerously, cleared by Eric Garcia. That's why he's there.
And two of the debutants last week in Mestalla, Pau Victor and Gerard Martin are going to be the last two substitutions for Football Club Barcelona.
So turning to youth on the bench, but he doesn't have much choice. There is only youth on the bench.
Nothing else
for Hansi Flick as he looks to get this 3 points over the line. Athletic Club with possession. Dani Vivian's cross away by Kubarsi. That hit the referee, so play will stop, and that could give the chance to Flick to make those substitutions. Gerard Martin and Pau Victor, both 22 years old. Both came on, as Carlos said, towards the end of the win at Valencia. Both will come on here, but not yet. Vivian looking for Nico Williams, taking on Koundé, who does a good job again. He's responded to his manager's faith. Koundé. Hansi Flick said before the game that he backed Koundé to deal with Nico Williams, and he's done a good job of it. And he won't have to do it here because it's offside. And now those changes, Carlos.
Yes, as we said, Gerard Martin and Pau Victor are going to be the players coming on. The players stepping off the pitch are going to be Alex Balde, and attention because I think we're going to have another standing ovation. Lamine Yamal, the other player that will come off the pitch.
Well, they were supposed to be playing together, at least in
pemain-pemain muda game.
this season. Lamine Yamal and Nico Williams, their duel
karena saking obatnya.
the two heroes from the summer. Fair to say, Raul, Lamine Yamal has won that personal battle today against his friend.
I think it's more than fair. Yeah, we saw not just the goal, but generally speaking, Lamine was able to consistently dribble the players, to link, to play, to defend in this pressing way that we were describing. Way more protagonists, just being more active, I would say, in his role. Also, obviously, because Barcelona find a way to connect with him. I don't think that was the case with Atleti. Actually, I don't think Nico Williams was on the ball that much, but still, he was not. I think Koundé made a fantastic job, as you were describing. He felt it looked not comfortable, but first half, I don't think Nico Williams had so many options apart from a cross that almost made Ter Stegen being injured. But then second half, Koundé's been super solid. So yeah, Lamine is going to take the lead this time.
Nico is still out there though, and we are into 5 minutes of added time. A little less than I thought, must admit, with the substitutions and the cooling break as well.
Freddy, bagus.
Look at Fermin. It's not just his goals that the fans love him for. He's so wholehearted, flying into that challenge. That'll be offside against Rafinha, but he grabs attention for the way he times his runs into the box and gets into goal-scoring positions, Fermin, but he gives so much to the team.
He does. He's a power force in both directions, and he seems to thrive, right, in those challenges. He seems to be very comfortable in those instances where he has to defend and work. It can remind you somehow of Gavi in that regard. Like, he's willing to challenge constantly every single time, not comfortable with just letting go, but then also getting into the box way more often and being very dangerous. So a very balanced and complete player for being as young as he is.
He's going to have a lot of playing time this season, Fermin. Pau Victor onto Koundé. Referee allowing advantage, and now there was no advantage, so he blows the whistle. Second time he's done that. Jesus Gil Manzano tried to let Koundé continue, but in the end, Barcelona happy to hear the whistle, and it's just about playing out the time now. We've only got a couple of minutes left before Barcelona can wrap up the points.
As we've said during the whole game, you never know, right?
You never know.
Still time for things to happen, but I think this is a very solid game for Barcelona, specifically second half. we've kind of seen that script that we were referring to, where first half was way more challenge, way more open for both teams, but second half Barcelona has been taking the lead.
The cross from Fermin doesn't find the run of Pau Victor, and in the end he makes the foul, but again it breaks up the play. Barcelona just 90 seconds or so away from 6 points out of 6, and in the circumstances, 2 tough games away at Mestalla, at home against Athletic Club, with all the turmoil behind the scenes. They've only signed 1 player, they can't even register him. That's an amazing start to the season for Barca.
And I would say unexpected, right? Like, there's so many, I think turmoil is the perfect word. There's so many things happening that it seems crazy that players have been able to just stay in the game and being able to make these performances. Again, not extremely dominant, but good enough performances to get these 6 points that all in all are well deserved. So we can just expect more from this team moving forward. I think, as I was saying, this is a fair result based on the performance, and if Barcelona continues in this way, we can just think of very good things for them this season.
Yeah, next up they have a trip in midweek to Rayo Vallecano. That's on Tuesday evening, and then they are back here next Saturday to take on Real Valladolid before the international break. So they'll be looking to make it 12 points out of 12. Hansi Flick, very happy man so far. Yes. Might be one more Athletic Club attack.
Mana sih, 3 poin sih.
Continuing his excellent game at right back.
Di atas Madrid dia.
For the visitors, they get it forward quickly, and Barcelona still pressing well, not allowing them to. It's worked in the end for Leque.
Besok jam 7 lawan Arema kan? Tapi entah main di mana kan?
He clearly fouled him. That's some frustration coming out. Fermin is involved, of course he is. Gets involved in everything. And the Barcelona players just need to walk away now. They've got this game won. The referee has given them the free kick. And I think Athletic Club's frustration is playing.
Yeah, and also the temper of Fermin, right? Unnecessary. I think the only thing that I was asking is, like, it wasn't that necessary to just roll over that much. Yes. But still, understood, like, the frustration is there.
And that is the final whistle. So Kubarsi's intervention was the last act of this game. Herrera getting in his face, really unnecessary for such an experienced player. That's an immature reaction, but one of frustration.
Tadi.
His team slipped to defeat. Lamine Yamal is man of the match. Fair enough, got a goal, but this wasn't about Lamine Yamal shining in front of everyone else. It was a good team performance, especially in the second half from Barcelona.
They went into the war. The first half was way more challenged. They did the dirty work. They weren't comfortable in the ball at the beginning, but eventually second half they showed.
Tapi bener ini Hansi Flick gameplaynya iya nih total menyerang aja.
And spirit as well, because they were together, they worked hard.
Maksudnya nih tadi ningali gameplay setengah lapang bener-bener di press. Press.
Young players again coming in, not a huge squad, but still good enough to just move forward.
Jadi supaya karena high press jadinya benar-benar stamina itu perlu digenjot gitu.
Also doing his part, so very solid game, very well deserved. Bright things for this team moving forward.
Tapi benar sih Yamal 80-an.
Two victories, both of them by 2 goals to 1, both of them courtesy of match winners from Robert Lewandowski, both of them featuring strong performances from a number of young players, and leaving his team with 6 points out of 6. Full time at the Olympic Stadium. It's Barcelona 2, Athletic Club 1. Thank you, Raul, for your contributions.
This is the world's game. It's played here and here. It's for everyone. This is where the next generation creates football's future. To get you closer to the game, closer to the joy, closer together. La Liga EA Sports, transforming the game.
Ada orang edit tunggu.